Hey you guys, this is Netta. Welcome to Inner Peace with Netta. I'm Netta and welcome to this channel. So today I will be speaking about emotional alignment. So in our life we have emotions. Why? Because we are human. Our emotions are teaching us what we need to learn about ourselves, and they're trying to show us something. But also, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and everything is energy. So our emotions run on a vibrational scale. So despair, powerlessness is like at the bottom. Joy would be joy, fulfillment, happiness, like gratitude. That eternal feeling of joy is at the top of the pyramid of the scale. So today I wanted to focus on emotional alignment because that's what helps us through our day-to-day, through our actions, our intentions. Well, it assists us with follow through with our intentions, of course, what we eat, our emotions, our actions, our thoughts, affect everything. So our thoughts affects our emotions affects our aligned action that we take. So everything goes hand in hand, okay? So when we are not mindful, and our minds is just all over the place, we start to trigger up, emotions start to get triggered, and then our actions are coming from an autopilot place, okay? So, take it from me, from a person who's had trauma and was quote unquote who had PTSD, right? And not understanding it and not realizing it, and mindfulness really helped, but I wasn't a person who was able to really honor my emotions, to even express my emotions in a healthy way, or to even express it. I used to repress and suppress, and I got plenty of videos where I talk about that and, my past. So in this video, I know that people who are watching you going through your healing journey and you just want to build on your emotional intelligence, or you're manifesting. So with manifestation, whether you're scripting, you have a goal and you're setting a plan and a system for your life, you need to be energetically, that emotion, that energy, you need to be on a high vibration and frequency. You need to be in alignment with what you want. So first, what do you want? And sometimes we don't know what we want, but we know what we don't want, and we know what that feeling is, right? So before I get to the manifestation part and the whole how we manifest and just co-create, right? And a lot of times we do it unintentionally because we're not having that intention to be mindful moment to moment. And I've learned in my life to wake up with an intention. If you plan your day like the night before, you should set an intention, because when you're getting off track, you can go back to that intention for the day. Just being mindful, know that this is your intention, creating a mantra, things like that. So what is emotional alignment? Emotional alignment is about being centered, about being, less emotionally resistant or disturbed. And you will be able to be more centered when you're mindful. You have to listen to your emotional system, our intuition, our emotions, our triggers, the things that make us feel low, make us feel high. What are we resistant to? Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. I knew it was time to leave my old job 2 years ago and start my own career in my own business and be on the path to my purpose, which I didn't even know it was my purpose. I just knew I wanted to get about the job that I was in, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? So I just dreaded. I dreaded. It was like, I was there for about 6 years. I'm telling you, I think about the third year. I was over it, right? But that last, like, about a year and a half before I left, I was dreading going there. And 6 months before I left, I used to be exhausted and tired, and I was working a graveyard shift, and that added to the tiredness. But even like the energy when I would walk in there, I was just like, ugh. I was being late. I didn't care, you know. I just started being negligent and irresponsible about my time management, getting to work. I was just like, I don't care. I don't care. My energy was just drained. It was like a vampire was sucking my blood. And, you know, just having these habits and not feeling good about myself, I was just, like, my emotions was telling me, you need to roll up out of here, sis. Like, it's time to go. Honor yourself. Stop trying to figure out the how and the how, and just do it, and everything else will fall into place. And I just wasn't trusting my emotions, and I wasn't honoring them. So that just caused me more pain until, you know, things hit the fan, and I just was, it took something to, I'm not going to say something really big happened, but I was, you know, on a climbing the career ladder there, and they abolished my position when I came back from vacation, and I was just over it. I was just like, okay, that's my cue that I need to go, because I'm not staying here being demoted back to, you know, my whole position, and you telling me, I just wasn't with it. And I just felt like that was a sign, like, sis, it's time to go. We're making things happening so that you know it's time to go. So you have to listen to your emotions in relationships. It could be the same thing, like when, say, you in a relationship or a situation, and the other person wants to have an open relationship, and you don't want to do that, and you feel it, that emotion, but you suppress and repress it because you so badly want to be in a relationship, but your emotions is running high. You're like, no, I don't want to do this. So you have to listen to that emotional system. Now, that was just an example, you know. When you feel good, when you're in your element, when you are in that Zen-like mode of doing something you love, that is for you. We live in this society to where it's like, okay, all your work is not supposed to feel good. Okay, I understand that to a certain extent. But living, I don't care if you don't make money from your passion or your purpose or whatever, right? Whatever career you in, it better make you feel good. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You do not have to be at no job or no career that you don't like. Oh, but I have to pay bills and then that means that you don't trust the universe. And I used to be like that too. And sometimes I fall back into those mindsets because you got to positively reinforce yourself over and over again until it becomes your new habit and your new mindset, right? So you have to have that trust. Because you're saying, say if you want to be an entrepreneur, okay, say if you got like a little part-time job, But if you really hating that, and then when you go home, you don't have no energy to fulfill your business and to be in your business, because you stressed out over here, you're out of alignment. Because you're in a lack of mindset of, okay, I have to stay here until this pops off. Well, you can get something else, right? Until your business can fully sustain you. But you don't have to stay where you are. You can get something else. I had that mentality as well, like being a new entrepreneur. I had to learn everything on my own. You could read books all day, watch videos, but until you experience it and you put in the work and you do the action, you won't really know what your strengths and weaknesses are until you like I said, experience it and do it for yourself. And then you can replan and pivot and do whatever you need to do in your life, right? To make those changes and saying, okay, so this is where I need help at. This is, the support. And this is where my strengths is at. And I can work more on those, learn new skills, because life, you just learning new things every day, right? We continue learning in this life. So, if your emotions is like, resistance, right? You need to listen to yourself. You need to listen to those and what it's trying to tell you. When you're feeling joyful and loving and having that gratitude and having that passion, not saying that the things that you have passion for and that you love won't mean that you won't have to put in effort or hard work, but it'll be work that you love to put in that work, if that makes sense. So, y'all know what I'm saying. So you don't mind putting in that effort and that hard work because it's something you love. Now, doing something that you don't like, you can't stand, putting in effort, and then you going to sleep, resting your head at night and dreading to do something that you don't like, or being in a relationship, or just settling. So we have to be able to honor our emotions and listen to them because they're speaking to us. And that means when they're up, okay, you're in alignment. When they down, you're out of alignment. Because you're going to have this negative energy, like you're just going to have this negative mindset and it's going to be fixed. When you're out of alignment, that's when you have limited opportunities. When you're in alignment, limitless. Because you're telling the universe, like, hey, okay, I'm in alignment. I'm getting this energy in check. This is what I want. And so this is what I'm going to feel. I'm going to feel like I'm already it. Because I am it. I may not see it tangibly, but I am already it. And then I'm putting in the work to get more of it and to get where I want to be. Before you know it, everything is starting to manifest slowly. It may not be exactly how you want it to be, but it probably be even better, And then when things don't work out exactly how we want it to work out, we get a little resistance and scared. Now, resistance. You will get resistance when you're trying to change your mindset. Because I wanted to talk about that too. So, just because you have resistance, say if you're trying to do a positive reinforcement and you have a habit, a negative habit, or old outdated habits, and you having resistance, keep moving forward. Because that habit is keeping you comfortable. So I just wanted to make sure that I differentiated, that form of resistance as well. But if it doesn't make you feel good, don't do it. When you start feeling guilt and heavy and shame, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Because the universe is going to reflect back to you that same form of energy. So I'm letting you know because I had to learn this the hard way. And I wasn't mindful, and I definitely wasn't, I wasn't really aware of it. And I wasn't even aware that I wasn't mindful. I was just in my head, living in my head. So you got to be mindful. Okay? So you got to check in with yourself throughout the day. Also, open up to love and self-acceptance, and this will lead to producing positive changes. Okay? So I got my little list here for y'all. Do know all problems come from a specific thought pattern which will trigger certain emotions. Okay? If you think a certain way, you're going to trigger certain emotions, or emotions will come up. Thoughts, emotions, actions. So if those emotions come up, then you're going to have a certain action. You understand? So, say if you're having an argument with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and they cut you off and they say, you always do that, and then you come back, no, you always do, and then your actions is y'all just spazzing out on each other in the street. Those emotions y'all allowed to take over y'all, and now look what y'all doing, acting out in the street. Now, there's no judgment, but you have to be aware of, okay, the person said, you always do this. That may have triggered you, your emotions, into think like, I always do this. That triggered you to go somewhere else and have that emotion. Instead of being mindful and asking, okay, what exactly am I doing that you are saying I always do, instead of, trust me, I be knowing. I know. So it's no judgment. It's just having that awareness so you can shift. Because let me tell you something, especially in the times that we're in, and we being empaths and having our spiritual gifts, and just having this awareness and earth changing into this new world, and as we're growing, that drains the hell out your energy. That drains, and then that attracts you to the people on that vibration. And you don't, when you're trying to live your best life, you're not trying to be on no low vibration or frequency. You need to be in a high vibration or frequency. You need to be hopeful, optimistic, grateful, just happy. And it has to be a choice, and it has to be intentional. Okay? So, also with emotional alignment, you either going to be a victim to your life or victor. Okay? From a person who had sexual trauma in their past, and I've talked about that, and even a year ago, I had to realize that, okay, you've been victimized, right? You have to honor yourself. I don't care what kind of trauma you had, sexual, if it's something violent, woman or man, okay? We have to realize that, yeah, okay, you was victimized. Be compassionate with yourself, have empathy, but you gotta forgive, okay? Because that cannot be the story. That's not going to take you to the next level. You gotta make that wound and turn it into wisdom, okay? You gotta use that as a stepping stone, a ladder to get you where you need to be. And never forget where you came from, but don't make that your story. That's not who you are. Now, you can empower others and assist other people who have been in that predicament. But once you start doing work like that, you start to outgrow it, and you begin to expand. And I've learned that with my own life. Just in my healing journey, I feel like we're always going to heal something in our lives. We're always going to go through something. Change is inevitable, right? We're always going to have loss, change, transformation, right, in our life, and we're going to grieve, because that's just life. Those are just the cycles of life. So you can't be a victim to that. You have to overcome that and say, I feel this way. I'm owning these feelings. I'm leaning into these emotions, and I'm gonna honor them. And I'm a feeling, but I cannot allow it to take over my life. So when we go through painful stuff in life, we have to, it has to be intentional that, you know what, this is not my story. Like, this is not my biography. It may be a little part in there, but this is not my end game. It's not the end of my book. You know, it's not the end of my story. My story is going to be legendary, so you have to recreate a legendary story. Then you gotta have a legendary mindset. Like, legends don't live being victims, you know. And you have to overcome. And I, for myself, you know, I kept asking why, you know. I love to ask why. But certain questions, certain things, you know what, don't ask why, ask why not. Why not you? Maybe you came here to empower other people, or people can learn from, you know, the lessons that you went through in life. And you are to empower them and then expand. Because soon you're going to have other things in life, better things in life that you're going to do, and experience different things that you can talk about. Everyone has a story, but every chapter is different. Okay? That's just the human life. Every chapter can be different, but it's up to you. Or either you could have the same chapter, which is just going to be a broken record in a played out book. So, become the victor of your life. And I know it's a process to heal trauma or just heal just certain emotions. But be compassionate with yourself, be forgiving with yourself and the other person, and just look at it from a higher perspective. Okay? Don't allow those emotions to hold you back. Everything happens for a reason. You may not understand why, but me, in my mind, I feel like I came here to learn certain lessons, and either I learned them or didn't. And if I didn't learn them, I would have to go through the lesson again. Now, I'm not taking ownership for anybody violating me, but I can see it from a higher perspective. Yeah. And that's my process of healing. And not that I'm maybe spiritual bypassing. No. You feel it, honor your emotions, but either way or whether you see a higher meaning in it or not, you still have to overcome these emotions and, you know, what you're feeling. So, and get out that victim mentality. So, with that emotional alignment, when you start to get into manifestation, you know you want to manifest out of this. This is how you can manifest out of that trauma, because you can start writing out your emotions, right? And start learning more about yourself. This is why writing is good in journaling, because you get to learn more about yourself when you start writing. Or either you could do video blogging and just start talking and bare your soul, either on paper or on the video. And this is why art is good as well. But with manifestation, you know what you want, right? If you don't know what you want, you gotta figure out what you want. Get clear on it. And see what techniques work for you. Visualization, scripting. You know, yes, you can speak it out loud, but put it on ink, put it on video, like I say. Having gratitude, but then you gotta take action, right? So if you're trying to get out of trauma, you can write, this is how I feel today, and write how you want to feel. You want to feel good. You no longer have depression or anxiety. You are living your best life. And write it in specifically, like you went out today, right? You had lunch. Maybe you really like in a deep, dark space, and you don't come out your house or you don't get out your bed. You got out your bed today. You cooked your favorite meal, or you went outside, you went to go ground by a tree, you looked at the sun, you heard the birds, and it made you feel good. Like, just write and script that, and you will be so amazed how the universe will shift that. Everything is energy, right? And you just continue to write it and write it and write it. And I understand it's about consistency, and you may not see everything right away, but trust and believe me, I have scripted things, and like overnight or 2-3 days up to a week, things happen. Now, when it comes to more of the bigger things out, I want to manifest, it takes more time. And it's up to me as well, because I may not have been taking appropriate action or any action, or just, or maybe it will come in a different way. Maybe I need to learn something more, build a new skill, learn, expand myself more, right? So those are just different factors that in your manifestation and emotional alignment. But what I realized was, just because everything don't manifest when you want it, divine timing, look at that video as well, you still got to stay on that vibration, because you have to know it's already here, you just not seeing it, and you still got to put in that legwork. Everybody got to do their part. Your spiritual team is doing their part, you got to do your part as well, okay? So you can meditate, mindfulness, yoga, honor your needs. If you don't want to do something, right, say Thanksgiving, if you celebrate, or any holiday, or any day, you don't want to cook. For whatever reason, you're not in the mood. You don't want to cook. You want to do something else. So do it. Honor your needs. When you betray yourself, you will continuously be in such situations that will, you either betray yourself or you either say no. Go to the video where I said no is your answer and your why. So if you truly don't feel like doing something like cooking, or stop making yourself responsible for everybody else, and stop making yourself responsible for what everybody else think or feel about you. It has to be about what you feel. And I'm not talking about self-centeredness, but I'm really talking about honoring your emotions, because that's a part of self-care, right? And you have to be intentional. First and foremost, you shouldn't be cooking the right food if you don't want to cook. If you really not feeling like it, ain't nobody want that energy in your cooking. You gotta cook with love. That's when it tastes good. So if you don't want to cook, or you don't want to do something, and you know with your heart you don't want to do it, then don't do it, because it's not going to come out right. You got to be from the heart. Okay? So that's my little tips and tools that I got for y'all for emotional alignment, because like I told y'all before, from a person who had a lot of suppressed and repressed emotions, and just learning how to even honor my emotions and understand them, and just understand myself as a human being, and then grow and expand at the same time and build my emotional intelligence. I feel like this whole world, we can all do that, you know. We just have all these things in society that, oh, you should be like this, act like this, and you shouldn't share your feelings, or women are emotional, or men aren't supposed to be emotional. Bullshit. Okay, we are human. We have emotions for a reason. So honor your emotions. You will know when you are not in alignment and not coming from a loving place, because you feel it in your chest and it stresses you out. We're not supposed to be stressed out. Yes, I understand we have stress, but we're not supposed to be stressed out. But just from a day-to-day living, oh, I gotta go to work. Oh, I gotta go pick up these kids. Oh, I gotta cook and clean up this. No, you have to be mindful. So mindfulness is a big part of it, because if you're not mindful of the thoughts, then you automatically going into this emotions and this autopilot. So That's all for this video. Please like, share, subscribe. I love you guys. Also, I'm going to do a yoga video for y'all for emotional release. When you're going through, you know, these tough emotions, or you just need to release some emotions, do some yoga. So I'm going to have like a little 10-15 minute video of some yoga asanas that you can do at home. It's not about perfection. It's, you know, just focusing on your breath and being in your body. Okay? So I love you guys.